Part of reconditioning this door is to replace the glass that's cracked or broken. The glass that goes in this vent window, this wing window, wasn't in the greatest of shape, so I opted to replace it. Before I do that, I'm going to clean up the channels that it goes in, repaint the black bits, and clean up the bare metal bits as best I can, and maybe put some sort of paint on those as well. Also, the rubber seal that goes around here needs to be reconditioned. It's actually in very good condition. It doesn't need to be replaced. It's not ripped, torn, or shrunken, or worn out anywhere, so I'm going to clean it up using some of this carpet stain remover. It'll make this rubber look just like brand new. That. I mean, that looks pretty darn good. Looks pretty much like brand new almost. It's definitely much cleaner. And that should make it fit back in there much nicer too with all the crud on it. I'll use some rust converter on the bits down here that are really rusty, but this bare metal is out of sight. It's you don't see it once this is installed in the car. That's probably good enough. I'm going to tape up the chrome bits. I'm going to tape up the chrome bits, and I'm going to shoot some Rust-Oleum on this, black Rust-Oleum. So these did clean up pretty nicely. I did shoot some paint on them, and they should be ready to go. This gasket has to be reinstalled back in this piece. This piece has to be reinstalled back into the gasket in this piece. But before I do that, I have to take this new glass and install it in this. Quick test fit of that glass shows me it's going to fit in there just fine. It looks like it's a perfect fit. In between the glass and the channel, you use this stuff. Now, you can get this many places. I got this off, I think, Summit. I've never done this before. I watched a couple of videos on the internet. It didn't look like it was impossible to do, so wish me luck. I had to stop the presses for a minute here before I can put that glass in here. I saw these two holes and it reminded me there's a little doodad that goes here that was missing from the car that I ordered. I'm going to have to rivet that in there. It's the pivot point for the window interacts with this piece here. It's the little cup that sticks out. And Actually serves as the pivot point for this window. So this is the package it came in. It's one of the cool things about working on Studebakers. When you order parts, half the time they're new old stock and they come in an original Studebaker package. I wrote the words on there just so I'd remember what it was, but believe me, this is an original Studebaker parts package, which is kind of cool. So anyhow, that goes something like that. So that's how it goes together. You can see that's the pivot point for the wing window. So now that we've got my pivot point mounted, I'm going to install the glass in the channel using glass setting tape, some denatured alcohol to activate the glass setting tape. You're really supposed to use kerosene for it. I don't have any kerosene. I'm going to try to use this denatured alcohol. If that doesn't work, then I'm just going to have to go find some kerosene somewhere. Also, we've got a very soft rubber mallet to make sure that the glass goes in the channel all the way. Have to be very careful because we have laminated glass. If I tap on it too hard, we could easily crack it. So going to be very conscious of that as we move forward. This tape is just to hold it in place while I work with it. Alright, that denatured alcohol didn't really work. It didn't really tack this stuff up like it's supposed to be, so either I'm going to have to find some kerosene or just do an alternative. I'll probably just put a little bit of a bead of weather strip adhesive down in there and then also down in the channel. Down here just to hold that. Don't walk around on me. Now we're going to do the same thing in the bottom of the channel here. One tiny little bead of weather stripping adhesive in there. Only thing left to do is to go around with a razor blade and trim off the excess. Next thing we got to do is to try to mount this rubber back in the frame here. Remember, there was one rivet here I had to remove. I'm going to have to replace that. That holds the rubber to the frame here at the very end. Another rivet down here at the very bottom I just remembered too. This is going to be a challenge getting this back in there though. Most definitely, and I got to make sure that the post from the wing window that goes through this hole is lined up. Let's take it one squeeze at a time, see if we can nurse it back in there. Actually, I don't know. One little nudge at a time with the screwdriver, it seems to be going in. I haven't put any soapy water or anything like that on there yet. Rivet hole to line up there. How about on this end? Just about. I gotta tuck it in a little bit more and she'll line up. Push it this way a little bit when I'm putting it in. That'll line that rivet hole up just fine. All right, there you can probably see the very tippy tip of my screwdriver sticking through the hole, so it's slightly out of alignment. I might have to pull it this way a little bit. Okay, now it's lining up. We'll do the other side here. This pivot point is got to go through a hole in this rubber, so I'm going to have to take it off, put it through the hole, and then reinstall it. There we go. So that goes through that hole there. You can see the pivot points through the rubber now, just like it's supposed to be. This rubber really cleaned up nice. I'm really amazed how good a condition this rubber is in. A little bit of spot that's frayed right here, but that's not going to matter. All right, it just occurred to me before I can put the glass in and the glass frame in, I need to get these rivets in the end. There's one in this end that holds the rubber in place there. Another one in this far end that holds the rubber in place there. There we go. That one looks fine. I am going to file that down a little bit with a Dremel so it doesn't interfere with the glass. So this is the bottom end. It looks like the hole's a little bigger on this end. It's going to let me put an aluminum rivet in there. Wish me luck. Should go well though. Looks like it's not going to give me any problems. Work. We'll check the function. Seems to close all right. It locks all right. Doesn't rattle around. Open it up, push it out. See, does it pivot open all the way? Is it snug at the top? It's secure at the top and bottom with the window open. That's what you want. Close it, lock it. We'll leave it just like that till it's ready to install in the door, but I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out. Like I said, I am going to touch up the paint on here a little bit. Okay, this is the side glass. You can see it's cracked and broken in multiple places. It's actually in worse shape than the wing window was. First step is going to be to get it out of the channel. It's going to be a combination of gently prying and heating with a heat gun, I think. Once we get it out of there, then we'll clean up the channel. The thermometer, it's 116 degrees. I'm going to heat it up a little bit more. I think once I get it to about 150 or so, it should start to loosen up. 154. All right, let's see what it does. Let's see if it responded to that heat. That glass is just so horrible. Yeah, it's coming. It did respond to that heat a little bit. Slowly coming off of there. All right, I'm just going to keep working it with the heat and the screwdriver. I think eventually we'll get it off of there without making too much of a mess. See what's happening there? Didn't have to do a thing. The heat all by itself caused this to just release. So that worked very, very well. All right, here's the new piece of glass. I'm going to set it on top of the old piece of glass. I had no doubt that it would fit since the wing window fits so well, but there's nothing like checking it for yourself with the original piece. That looks like it's going to be a perfect fit. It's the exact same dimensions as the original glass. So on this window channel, on the leading edge, the part that meets the wing window, you can see there's some fur or fuzzies or whatever you want to call them here, or the remnants of them anyway. So I got to scrape all of that out of there. This channel on the bottom, everything came out of there except the rust. So I got to get down in there with a wire wheel. All right, one thing I just noticed that I didn't notice before, as I was pulling those fuzzies out of there, it hung up here in the middle and it hung up here at the very end, and I didn't realize why at first, but now that I've got it out of there, I can see that those were actually riveted in there in 3 places, here, here, and here. I don't think I'm going to be putting rivets back in there. I'll use some urethane adhesive or some sort of adhesive in there instead. The new one that I have is 2 separate pieces, one for the side, one for the bottom. The old one that came out was an L-shaped piece. I think I'm just going to do away with those rivets. It's not perfect, but it is reasonably clean, and I think the glass setting tape will set in there just fine. Alright, so now we have the glass in the channel exactly in the position it's going to need to be in when it's fully seated. A Sharpie mark there. Remember when I was working on the wing window, I had to use adhesive on this because I didn't have the kerosene to activate the window channel setting tape, I should call it. Well, I went out and bought some kerosene, some K1 or 1K, whatever they call it. I think this might make sense to do this one part at a time. Do the bottom first. Since this comes apart from this, I can take it apart and do the side afterward. That may actually make more sense. I'm going to set that side piece aside for now. We're just going to focus on the bottom. We'll do the side. Just work fast with this stuff. The kerosene dries pretty quick, I've noticed. This down a little bit to make it a little easier to handle, and then I'll hold it together. Wrap that around a couple more times. That should keep it from pulling out, and then I'll just leave it sit like that for a few hours. Actually, This is the old window track that I took out. It's not in terrible condition, but I've got a brand new one. This is the piece that's vertical inside the door, and the leading edge of the window rides up and down in it. I probably could have reused it, but why when you've got brand new stuff available? Of course, you can see I've got no brackets on the new one. I'm going to have to take the brackets off the old piece, mount them on the new one. These are riveted in here loosely, so... Looks like my rivet gun doesn't fit if I do it that way, so I have no option. I have to do it the other way. But I should still be able to peen it down once it's in there. Probably going to drill this one out just because I don't like the way I couldn't get that post to pull all the way out, which means it's sticking up a little bit proud inside the channel here. Hopefully this one won't cause me any problems. Damn it. I just seem to be having the same problem over and over again with this hole. I may just have to drill a new hole in there, put a rivet in the middle, and take this one completely out of here. I think that's what I'm going to have to do. Stand by. All right, that one went perfectly, so I'm just going to get rid of this one with the post sticking out. Every rivet I try to put in that hole, for some reason, it doesn't rivet all the way down, so it's very bizarre. Sorry, kids, don't take any safety tips from me. I absolutely should have had the guard on there, and I should have been wearing gloves. My wife will kill me when she sees this clip. Alright, so there it is, ready to install. I just got to peen down the inside of these rivets to make sure they don't drag on the window as it goes up and down, but that shouldn't be any big deal. Alright, that should do it. That window should slide in there really nice now without catching on the glass catching on the edge of those rivets there. So here we are looking at the door. You can see these holes here. Those holes accept the clips that hold the fuzzy window channel in. There's a piece of fuzzy window channel on this side of the door and another one on this side of the door, and the holes are directly opposing each other. As the glass comes in and out of the door, it passes through that fuzzy window channel. So that's what we're working on today, preparing these strips to be installed in those holes in the door that I showed you. So I've got one piece for one side, one piece for the other side, and they create the channel that the window glass goes up through. Now, if there's going to be a challenge for this, it's going to be getting the clips on these pieces in exactly the right position. Fortunately, at least one of these pieces remained intact when I took it off of the door. The other one pretty much disintegrated and half of the clips broke. But I've got this one to use as a template. Now, I should be able to use this as a template for both this side and this side because the holes in the door are directly opposing each other. Having the best luck with this needle nose pliers, so I'll just stick with that. I'm able to get a better reach into the center of the clip. Alright, those fuzzy strips are ready to install. Alright, next up for attention is this window regulator. It's bent right here. That's, as far as I can see, the only thing I have to fix on it. I have to straighten this piece out here. But the whole thing probably deserves to be cleaned and get some new grease in it. Guess we'll just start off by scooping out the old chunks of grease. So this piece is bent at like a 25-30 degree angle. I've got to straighten that out flat. I would imagine that this got bent in the accident that damaged the door and was just left that way. But folks, I meant to film this while I had it on the anvil. Unfortunately, I didn't realize the camera wasn't running. Basically, I just laid it on the anvil here, hit it strategically in places to straighten it out. I've still got a little bit of straightening to do. It's a little bit of twisting here on the end. But you can see the mechanism's working perfectly. This is straight as an arrow here. This is the part that touches or attaches to the window, so there should be no more binding going up and down. Today's been a long time coming. Today's the day I start reassembling this door. We got U-channel to install. I've got side glass to install. I've got wing windows to install, the fuzzy channels in the top of the thing. Alright, I got the bottom of that U-channel cut. I took about 4 inches off of it. But I'm going to continue to try to slowly massage this curve into the right shape and see if I can get this top clip to fit. Once I get the top clip to fit, and I get this curve in here exactly as it is, I'm going to find exactly the spot on that U-channel where that oval slot meets up with. I'm marked out with a Sharpie. Put the clip down there, and then we should have the whole thing installed. Yeah, that didn't exactly work. So what I'm going to do is drill a hole, put a rivet in up here instead of that clip. But I'll do that after we get everything lined up. I may end up having to do the same thing inside the door too. I hope not. All right, back inside the door. So right now my objective is to find that oval slot and put a mark with a Sharpie on the U-channel where the clip needs to go. I certainly hope the clip works inside this door and doesn't break like the other one did. It would be so much easier to just use that clip and not have to worry about drilling a hole and putting in a rivet inside this door, which would truly be a pain in the neck. Now, I did that mostly by feel because I really can't get a good look down in here, but I'll double check it. Yep, I've got my Sharpie marks pretty much where the oval is. It's at the top end of those Sharpie marks. So I will get the clip in the right spot. I'll pull this U-channel out, put the clip on. So this is the piece of U-channel that you saw inside the bottom of the door just a minute ago. I took my original Sharpie marks and made them a little more pronounced. That's where we're going to try to install this clip. Wish me luck that I have better luck with this clip than I did with the one at the top of the door. This is the clip. It looks like there's only one way to install it. It just kind of presses down and squeezes. But it was so easy to break that one on the top, I'm not sure if I'm using them right. Okay, now I've got the U-channel back inside the door, and I've got the camera back inside the door. We'll see if my clip lines up and if it attaches and doesn't break in half like the other one did. I'll be damned, it worked. not go as well. I should still be able to peen it down though. I'm not going to worry about it. Alright, I'm going to peen that down where it's sticking up. Definitely don't want it chipping my glass. Now that we got the U-channel installed in the door, the next step is going to be to install the main piece of glass in there. Alright, before I actually set the glass inside the door, slide it in there, I'm going to lay this bubble wrap inside the door just to protect it. Remember the last time I was more careful with anything. Last thing I would want to do is damage this glass. In hindsight, I probably should have lined these channels with masking tape before putting this in there. Okay, I did line the opening with masking tape. Better late than never, right? I figured this glass might go up and down a few times in there before I get those fuzzy channels installed, so no point damaging anything, either the window or the paint. So right now I've got the glass installed in the U-channel on the back side. Next thing I got to do is install this on the leading edge of the window. The first thing is going to be to attach this to the leading edge of the window and put in the first screw. All right, back working on the window regulator. Runs very smoothly. Shouldn't have any problems with it. Oh, heck. I have to take this track out again. This has to go in underneath the track, and then the track goes in over that. So, the things you learn. Might not take all of them out. I'll probably just take a few of them out and slide it over. That window regulator is working just about as well as it probably did when it rolled out of the showroom. I'm very pleased with that. So next is to attach the bottom of the window frame to the regulator. But before I can do that, I have to install the fuzzy strips in the top of the opening. All right, that is a perfect fit. I'm very pleased with that. Let me do the other side. Right, every single clip is clipped. It's installed. attempt to get one of these clips on there. Wish me luck. There's a little slot in the end of that spindle. This clip has to go on that slot, and it has to go over this washer. So that's what I'm trying to do. It's very, very hard to get a good shot of this, almost impossible. Alright, I got one of the clips installed. The other one's going to be a little more difficult. It's farther back here. The trick is you kind of have to press everything together while you're putting the clip in. It's not the easiest task. Alright, I got it. Just needed a little leverage. Let's see how the window goes up and down. I'm going to turn you around. Before I took this door apart, this window really wouldn't go up and down at all. You certainly couldn't get it to go up and down with the crank. You remember from previous clips in this series, the regulator was all bent, broken up. The U-channel was all just mangled, nasty. The glass itself was cracked. It was in really horrible condition. Well, now I finally got the glass back in, got it back together. Watch how nicely this goes up and down. Absolutely perfect. Nice, tight, rattle-free fit on there. This is going to be like a brand new door. Okay, next we're going to reinstall this vent window. Alright, and as I remember, there was one in the bottom. Shabby. It doesn't seal up 100% on here. There's a little bit of a gap, which I don't want, but that probably just means I need to adjust this front track, the one that goes up and down. I never did tighten these screws down because I thought there was a chance I might have to adjust it some. So I'm going to do that now. Oh yeah, see, just by loosening that up, I can see it's moving into position. Making a better seal there. We're going to tighten that down right there. And that'll be where it stays. I'll put the rest of the screws in and we'll be done with it. Holy cow, I just flipped this door over from back to front so that I can put the fuzzy strips in this stainless channel here, and about broke my back. I forgot how heavy this thing is with the glass and mechanisms in it. It feels like it's got to be 40 or 50 pounds heavier. It's much, much heavier. I got used to flipping it around without that stuff in there, and imagine my surprise. Anyhow, there's fuzzy strips that go in here. One goes on this edge, one goes on the leading edge. The original one was an L-shaped piece that was riveted in. This stuff is just going to go in with adhesive, and because I'm using adhesive, I need to make sure this channel is nice and clean. Just got some degreaser on a rag. Very, very fine bead, doesn't take a lot. That's really all you need right there. Once again, a very small bead is all you need of this stuff. It's good stuff. One of the nice things about it being rubberized too is if you need to get it off later with solvent, you can. I got the door flipped back over once again, and that is so that we can install the latch, the handle, the lock rod, and the inner handle rod right here. I meant to paint this latch too. I didn't quite get around to that. That'll have to be a project for another day. I'm kind of anxious to get this stuff back together, get the door on, and get the car back on the road. Oh heck, before I put this on here, I have to attach the rod. Gotta do things in the right order. They don't fit. Now we can install the latch. Left is to put this lock cylinder in. This is probably going to be the only tricky part today, just because you've got to put this clip on the inside like that, but it's way the hell up inside there, and there's just not a lot of room to get your arm up in there, so wish me luck with that. You see that square hole? That's where the lock rod has to go. I have to thread it through that hole and get it to seat flush in this hole. All right, I got it up through that square hole, got it in there flush. This is the clip that has to go in the slot in that lock rod. Way up in there. Well, I got it on that lock cylinder. It really wasn't that hard to do. It goes top to bottom. And it wasn't a big deal, except for when I got it on there. It was very loose on there. It wasn't going to hold anything very securely at all. So I took this out, put it in a vise, put a little bit of a bend in it, and hopefully that's just enough to make it slightly snug in there. That's all I'm looking for. All right, I actually got that clip on the lock cylinder. I got it in there snug. It was so snug that I had to tap it on very lightly with a hammer to get it to go all the way on, but it's holding the lock cylinder in there now. I'll take it. That's a win. All right, so this door is really starting to look pretty good with all the stuff on it. Everything put back together, the windows in it, all the fuzzy strips in it, U-channel in it. It's starting to take shape. There is one final thing I have to do before I can install this door back on the car. And that's to install this piece of stainless trim. Before I can install the trim, I've got to clean it up a little bit, polish it out with some metal polishing compound. How well the camera's picking any of this up, but I don't know, for my money that looks pretty damn good. folks, it is done. That was one heck of a lot of work, but I'm really happy with the result, and so it was worth it. Thank you for watching the videos and for following along. I hope to have more projects on this car this summer and fall and winter, so please tune back for those. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I don't have any idea, but I'll let you all know.